Hi, and welcome to the Friday Night Hangout with Android Coliseum. This is number 38 on July 19th, 2013. We have the gang here. Last week we were missing the little ribbon, so I was pointing at people, only there was no one for you to see. So this week, hopefully you'll see a ribbon. So right beside me, according to me, is Ryan Moore, staying up late as always to talk. He made it back from camping. And then one over is Sylvain, and I'm not even saying your last name, Sylvain, because I don't want to slaughter it.
Yeah, hi.
Here for this week. And then when do you go on holidays?
I am going, actually, it's my last hangout tonight until mid-September.
Whoa. So look for some changes after next week. And at the far end is Tom Gray out of Vancouver. And this week, I don't have to worry about holding a sign upside down because I have my banner. So I'm Cass. I'm in the middle of nowhere, Alberta. So let's get to it. The first topic that we have on our agenda is what is the upcoming announcement from Google? Who wants to take that one?
I can talk about that one, yeah.
I don't talk much.
That's okay. You're doing a good job of it, though, Cass. I was a little bit worried, and I got back from my trip, and I was like, and I watched the video, I'm like, damn, I don't know if I'm going to be allowed back in. Anyways, yeah, so July 24th, Sundar Pichai, the new leader for Android, announced a breakfast media lunch, or luncheon or breakfast thing or whatever. And what was weird about this one, there was not a lot of fanfare, right? It was really kind of quiet. And then when one person sort of announced it, became super public. But whereas the other events, there was always some sort of like, oh, this event's launching coming up. This was a week's notice. And they didn't say what it's about. So I can't remember who was it, JP Raphael was saying, let all the rumors go, put out your wish list. And, so what is it going to be? Is it because of the fact we had seen all the features of the Nexus 7, the new Nexus 7 come out already. We've, all the rumors and that. We had seen leaks of the 4.3 already. So was the cat let out of the bag? And they're like, okay, fine, we need to have an event. Let's put an event out really quickly here and get on top of it, right? Nothing worse for a scandal than to own it, right? So is that. But what are they going to talk about? Obviously, we're going to see a new Nexus 7. Obviously, they're going to talk about Jelly Bean 4.3. But what else do you guys think they're going to see?
I don't know. I think they might talk about Google Editions a bit more. Talk about branching out more Google Editions, how we'll see more and more, and just, maybe explain the difference between a Nexus and a Google Edition. It's very hard. They kind of keep us on our toes. No one really knows. Unlike, Apple, everyone kind of realizes, oh, it's that time of the year. Okay, it's going to be a new iPhone, new OS, right? So, that's the good thing about Google.
Yeah. Could they be talking about the new Nexus?
Well, the Nexus 7 they will be.
Nexus 5, yeah, the phone.
The phone? I don't think so. The Nexus 4 doesn't come out until around Christmas time, right? It wasn't around until then. So I don't see it being revamped till then.
Didn't it get announced a lot earlier? But I thought it usually got announced like in, November? I thought it usually got announced in September, October.
No, the Nexus 4 came out in November 17th, and it sold out in like 36 minutes, and Brian and I both failed to get it. So we had to order again, I believe it was December 13th or something like that we actually successfully ordered together.
Yeah, I remember
it was announced much earlier than that.
It was announced a little bit earlier than that, but that was the event that they had to cancel, so they actually didn't have a launch. Yeah, they didn't have the launch. So, but then that's just because that's historical, right? Those are the times they normally come out. They could come around and do something different. But I think we've reached a point we don't have to have these fantastical events to announce things. I can't really imagine what more we can really do with Android right now. When we see, I've been reading Tom's article about the 4.3 release. What else there's not much changes. People are not saying anything that's different about it. There's a couple small things here or there. But what can you really do that's bigger for Android? We don't need to have, and one more thing anymore. We need, we just need a really good device and saying, well, we just tweak, those bugs you had, they're all gone. That's what we need to hear now. because I think it's a very mature system now. And
I agree,
yeah, go ahead.
and with the way they're updating it through apps, I think that it sort of takes away the need to have these big announcements for their next operating system.
I think the Google I/O really changed that pace, right? Because they stopped it from being about the full OS and hardware to saying services. Here's what we're offering as services and apps. All right. The rest of it is all bonus. We can play around with that stuff all we want, but you don't have to have these magical super releases in your iOS, and we can tell you what kind of magical pink fairy dust goes into it. We just need to tell you things are going good. We've fixed that, so it's better now.
Well, and that really takes us into our next topic. Like we asked last week, did we think devices are getting to the point where they're fast enough? So we did a bit of a poll. Let's check the link here. And according to the poll, it's redirecting because I didn't click the link early enough. And 2/3 of the people do think they're fast enough. Some people didn't actually vote. They just sort of said, yeah, good question. I don't know. What do you guys think? Fast enough? Not fast enough? We did talk a little bit last week, but you weren't here, Ryan. So
I think they're okay. Like there's only so much you can do right now. I mean, in terms of actual speed, I mean, you're only really going to see it if you're going to do some hardcore, program to really require it, such as really large games and stuff. I mean, it's the same kind of idea about computers. Any computer on the market will get the job done, but if you're going to game, that's when you're going to really need those extra cores, that extra RAM, that better video card. I mean, even a Galaxy Nexus can do everything that we want to do today. Not the fastest, but it will get the job done. Right now, I don't think there's a need for octa-core 3 gigs RAM right now, but who knows for next year.
Well, I'm thinking if they go like with Samsung and their multi-screen, I think when you have multi-screen like that where you've got 2 active screens, that maybe speed does matter because you're running more active things. But other than that,
yeah, I was thinking like it's not so much we're fast enough, and it comes down to I think the RAM is going to be the issue we're going to start running into, the RAM and the GPU. So especially when you do talk about multi-screens, and this is my dream for a portable device that I have my phone. I walk upstairs, I plug it into my TV, and I can use it on my TV. I go to my office, I plug it into my monitor at work, and it's my computer there. So in that sense, we would need to be able to expand as it needs. It needs to run at 4 gigs when it's doing this, when it runs at 2 gigs when it's doing that. So I think being able to utilize the system it has right now better, so a better RAM process, maybe a better GPU, that's the only thing we really need to do nowadays. Like speed, do you notice much difference between 1.7 gigahertz quad-core processor versus a 1.5 gigahertz quad-core processor? No, you're not going to notice much difference. It's what you're running on top of it, right? So
I don't notice a lot of difference in speed between my Note 8 and my S4, and I believe my Note 8 might be a little slower in terms of processor. But yeah, I agree. And Tom says too, more running processes, more RAM, because that's where you're going to end up needing those reserves.
Yeah, Samsung's been pumping their phones with more and more and more bloat as time goes on. I mean, because we talked about this almost a year ago. They're trying to transition to make their own brand, right? So I mean, there's going to be a lot of crap they're putting in there, and unfortunately, a lot of it can't be disabled unless you root your phone. And a lot of people don't really root their phones all the time, right? So I mean, they're getting revenue for having all this stuff on there, so of course they're going to do it. But that means you're going to have the hardware to back all that stuff up.
It's sort of like I used to consider Chrysler vehicles. Lots of horsepower, but not well used horsepower. Mm-hmm. Just sort of throwing it at it so that it does something inefficiently. I'm not going to say anything more about Chrysler. So.
What was the comment somebody says? Like, it drives like a cloud but steers like an ox or something like that. Anyways, and I think that's kind of the point. I think we really need to do is just sharpen up around the edges of what the devices can do. So, do we get a better camera? You know, stuff like we saw the other day with the rumor about Sony's potential new camera accessory to
That's
get
a
us
killer
somewhere.
one.
Like, then it's interesting to see what was it, and to see that like it looks like it's a separate camera, and only the phone becomes your view screen, right? So the lens doesn't change in the actual camera.
I have those lenses that stick onto your.
Yeah.
They're kind of neat.
So, and I think we're just going to see things.
No, they don't scratch.
No? Oh,
no,
I thought they did.
They're magnetized.
Okay.
They're magnetized onto a ring. But let's move on.
Yeah.
It does seem like we are on the verge of getting 4.3. It sounds like that is going to be called Key Lime Pie, doesn't it? Rather than just another version of Jelly Bean?
No, it's going to be Jelly Bean.
It is still going to be Jelly Bean.
Yeah, it's going to be another rendition of Jelly Bean. Nothing that's been reported as user face changes, so everything's going to look pretty much the same. A lot of under-the-hood fixes, as Ryan had mentioned, little bugs fixed here and there. I'm hearing rumors of different style of Linux or upgraded Linux behind the scenes, but I mean, that's only what I'm reading, so don't peg me on that if I'm wrong. So just, of course, you'll just get the upgraded camera. They're talking about your Wi-Fi will still scan for open Wi-Fi, even if you have it turned off, to help Google Now process locations better, yada, yada, yada. So it's, as Ryan said again, it's more about enhancing what we already got rather than giving us more.
And I think the cool thing about it right now is, like, a year ago, if you said there was a leak, there's a new ice cream sandwich 4.0.2 leak, I would go out and flash it. Oh, let's try it out. Let's put it on.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, you know what?
I'll wait.
4.2.2 is pretty good, and it's only a week away. I don't really care. Like, it's my device is that good right now that I don't mind wearing like that.
But just like Tom, I would flash it, absolutely. Just to have the latest one.
And I'm at that crossroad right now. Like, my Note, I rooted it. I'm not sure why. But I rooted it, so now the 4.2.2 is available for it. So I could flash that. I have it on my computer. It's deox, rooted, and everything. Or I could unroot it and wait and see what Samsung gives me.
Next year?
No, because this is off Sam Mobile, so it will be soon. So it's kind of...
And I think it comes down to the point where we have to ask ourselves, are we happy with what we have?
And I am happy. I don't want to break it.
And you're not going to break it. You just do it. You just do it with caution. But I think it's a matter of the point. I think that's where we have to come down to and see. Well, you know what? Our devices are very good at what they are right now. And to be honest with you, we don't miss out on a lot of features by not having the latest nowadays. Especially with the Google thing.
Quick hands up. Who's going to flash this as soon as it's available? Root and flash? Tom? Sylvain?
Well, I have a Galaxy Nexus, so if I can, yes.
Actually, I probably will on my Nexus as well.
If it gets released, I guess it will. I'm hoping.
To me, they have to show me something why I really want to do it. Because, like, to be honest with you, I am very happy with it right now. And, like, I'm on a Nexus, so I hope I would get it pretty soon thereafter anyways. But, so I mean, like, a couple days wait, I don't mind. But if it's something really cool that I turns out that I'm missing out after reading the XDA threads that comes out that I didn't know about, then maybe I'll do it. But to be honest with you, I'll just wait a couple days and hopefully the Nexus gets it.
Well, it'll be interesting too, since we also have the Google Edition phones, whether Tom and I will get an upgrade quicker on our non-Google Edition phones. So let's move on. We talk about fragmentation, which, we're all sort of talking about different things that we have. I guess I didn't really realize with iPhones, even though everybody is on the same edition of the OS, not everybody has everything working. So to me, in many ways, that's hidden fragmentation. Mm. What do you guys think about fragmentation in Android? Is it overblown? Is it probably at similar levels?
it is overblown. We talked about this a few months back as well. As long as you got 4.1.2 or higher, you're okay, because that seems to be the most commonly seen right now for the lowest is 4.1.2 on the older devices, because that's when we get Google Now. Mm-hmm. So when you get 4.2, yeah, you get the Daydream features, but I mean, I don't use that. I don't know anyone who really uses that for reals. It's just, you want Google Now. It beats the crap out of Siri. I mean, that's what we need.
And when did Photosphere come along? That was in 4.2.2, right?
4.2.0.
0.0?
4.2.0, yeah.
Whichever one broke my Galaxy Nexus, that was the one. So, another feature that's sort of on the edge, sort of like the Daydream.
Or lock screen widgets.
Yeah, I'm not that into lock screen widgets either. You guys, lock screen widgets?
Never.
I'm starting to use the SoundHound widget a little more often. That's about it. It's just a little
that
quicker
one
for me
I
to
could
open
see using.
To quickly turn it on. I want that one feature. But
yeah.
I mean, I could probably do the same thing with a CyanogenMod 4-point circle. And just launch straight to that app or whatever. So.
Well, now I have satellite radio, so it always tells me what song is playing anyways. So that's what I usually hear. So
for lock screen widget, I just wanted to say something, Cass.
Yeah.
Well, I'm on 4.1.1, so I don't have the camera for that. I think it came out at 4.2.2. So that's the one I'm missing, and for that reason, I'm not using any right now.
So that's the only one you were interested in.
And I'm missing it.
I agree. Yeah, sometimes I do too. Because it's supposed to work on the S4, but I couldn't figure out, like I kept setting it and it went, no. So I went, whatever. Sylvain, you are leaving us to go on holidays. Are you taking all your tech with you?
I am taking my phone and my tablet. No laptop.
And are you using them as, well, you'll be in Canada, so you'll be able to use your data services and stuff like that. Do you think you'll use it that much, or will you be busy doing fun stuff? I mean, offline stuff.
Well, I'll be planning my fun stuff with my tablet. With the new Google Map, I already started looking everything in Montreal and saving all the places, all the vegan restaurants I want to try and all that. And I will install or activate Google Now. I'm going to buy an extra gig on my prepaid plan, and I'm going to go the full way. Can't wait.
It'll be nice to have Google Now in a big city. I notice it's a lot more useful than here.
Yeah, I hope it works well.
What about you, Tom? What kind of holidays do you go on, and do you take your stuff with you?
I don't go on holidays that much, but my phone never leaves my hands. It's never more than 3 feet from me at all times. So, it goes with me even if I'm swimming. Not really, but
And Ryan, you just got back from camping. How did you use your mobile device?
So that's why I wrote this point on there, because I just wanted to, when I'm normal mode, my phone is always connected to Google Plus, or I'm, getting my Feedly, or I'm getting my emails. And I took it camping with me. I had to turn it on airplane mode because we had no service out there, right? So it just became a camera and a book reader, and it was weird to change modes like that. So I just wanted to see what other people are doing with their devices when they go when they go in a place on trip where it's not going to be its standard self. Do you switch devices, or do you still use the one device that you got used to?
Well, I know when I go to the Cook Islands, I do turn off all my syncing because my Wi-Fi data plan is really expensive. But I use it a lot as, like you said, a camera, an ebook reader, the odd email and stuff, also as a media player. So I have a bunch of music on my SD card, and I take that down in a couple of movies. So it's definitely handy.
Before we left for the trip, I remember sitting in the metro checkout line, and I was like, pinning books in my Google Play books, going, okay, make sure it saves, make sure it's saved, make sure it saves, make sure it's. I was pinning everything to make sure it had these books and stuff I could read when I was on the trip. So
Cool. Oh, and I also use mine for looking at the stars. So it's kind of neat because you're always saying, I know the Southern Cross is out here somewhere. So I'm going to use my app to find it. Did you use yours in dark sky at all? Or do you don't do that?
I was going to use Google Sky Maps, but you needed data to have it, right?
Mm-mm.
No?
Mm-mm. It's all GPS.
Really?
Just
so
GPS.
how does it know where the points are then? Like, I thought it needed the data to do that.
No, all the data is downloaded. You just need to run your
really?
GPS so it can locate you.
Really? I was going to do that with my son to show him all the different things. But I thought, well, no, it needs data, so I won't need to. Oh, well.
Next time.
Next time for sure. Thank you.
So let's have the last comment from Sylvain.
Yeah, it's a quick question. I said I wouldn't bring my laptop, but I'm not sure just my tablet and my phone's going to be enough.
Oh,
and
phone's enough. Huh? Phone's enough. The phone will be enough, trust me.
Yeah, actually, the phone will be enough. What were you thinking of for your tablet or for your computer?
Yeah, well, the thing is, I bought tickets for the Fantasia Festival in Montreal, and I had to buy tickets and go through all the credit card information. And for some reason, I just went on my main computer, left my tablet, went downstairs, and did my transaction. So I don't know if it's just a habit or I don't think just a tablet would be enough.
It's an easy habit to break. I remember going to Duluth, and I remember sitting in Duluth and in the lounge of the hotel with the Wi-Fi in the hotel before we left the hotel. Oh, we've got to buy tickets for that little kids event. So I'm like loading up, putting my phone into desktop mode, and I'm actually buying the tickets before we left. So
I agree, because when I go away for business and stuff like that, I never take a computer. I take my tablet, and the only thing I have to do is make sure I have an external power supply with me, because I am on my tablet the same amount I'm on my computer. So that means I'm on there for 5 hours of screen time at once.
Oh yeah.
And I want more. So yeah, I'm that bad.
Yeah, so I guess I'll just try it and report back on that.
I think you'll find it. I'm always amazed. I love using my tablet when I'm elsewhere, but just somehow I always end up sitting in front of my computer when I'm at home. Like, I think it's because of my ball and I want to do ab exercises instead of lounging on the couch. So let's move on. Like, Canada just got some new laws for our cell phone plans, and they are going to be maxing out at 2 years now for a plan. So Tom knows a lot about this. So Tom's going to take it away.
All right, so basically the CRTC got involved and started changing some stuff around. And all carriers have until January 1st, 2014 to implement these changes. So, of course, they're starting to roll it out over time. Most of these carriers have already begun the changes or planning in the next month. And what they're doing is they're cutting down our 3-year contracts to 2-year contracts. But as I wrote in the previous article, they're planning to charge you a little bit more on top of it now. So rather than your $60 plan, you're looking at about $65 to $70 for the exact same plan. They cannot change it if you're already locked into a contract or already on month-to-month. The only way it would affect a current user is if you change your plan or are simply a new customer. They cannot just jack up your price without telling you. So existing customers, you're safe. Cancellations, going to be the same thing. It's going to be $20 per voice and an extra $10 if you have a data plan for the remaining of months in your contract. But now what they're doing is you're going to do a contract and you're also going to owe money on your phone. So yes, you're going to have to pay out the contract, but you're going to have a tab on the phone at the same time. So if you dust off your hands and walk away from the carrier and you're only 1 year in, you got to pay that 1 year's worth of cancellation fees on the contract and whatever's remaining on your phone, which is based on the value of your phone. They'll tell you how much you owe on it. And I've got a buddy of mine locked in right now, and conveniently he owes on the phone for about 3 years. conveniently. It just works out that way.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what I am too.
Yeah, so I mean, it kind of works out to be the same. They're still going to keep you for 3 years if you don't want to pay any nickels and dimes to get out, but they're going to make it easier to upgrade your phone. Because, for example, if you grab like a Nexus 4 and you sign into your agreement, and they're going to charge you like whatever, like let's just say $100 up front. I know it's not that, but let's say $100 up front, and they'll say you owe $200 on top of it. So if you want to upgrade your phone in the future, you don't have to buy out your contract and then re-upgrade. You just have to pay off your phone and then upgrade that way. So it's going to be easier to upgrade your phones in the future, but just harder to walk away from the carrier in general. So that's basically what it comes down to. Little minor things here. One most notable, is there's going to be no more $6,000 bills if you go to Greece and don't turn off your data. They're capping that at, I believe it was $100 for voice and $50 for data. So the maximum they can charge you for overages and roaming is $150 on top of your current bill.
I hope they allow, I understand that, but I hope they also allow providers to then cut your service if that's what they're doing. If they're going to cap, then you shouldn't be able to run over that service either.
It's true. I'm not sure how that would work out, but there is a cap on price. I'm not sure if you can just continue using it. Who knows? But this is what I've come to understand.
So what's going to happen is they will notify you that you are approaching the cap, and your service will cancel, and you will have to contact them to continue that, to say, yes, I know I'm on vacation. Yes, I know I'm racking it up. I need it, therefore let it continue to rack up to a X amount number. So you'll be being allowed to do that. We've got an article a couple weeks back that talks about the changes to the CRTC laws on that. So I put that in the agenda file if you want to take a look at the old file. So some of the changes if you want to take a look at it.
Did you have another comment, Ryan, or did Tom sort of cover it all?
Well,
what do you think?
I was just going to, what I didn't like to see, we liked the fact there's no more 3-year contract, because we were talking this in the pre-show saying, oh, hey, 3 years ago I was still using a Galaxy S. Like, there's no way I would want to be still on a Galaxy S at this point, right? So 2 years makes a little more bit of a pill to swallow, but what I didn't like saying is that they kept the subsidy or the price you paid for your phone the same. So they upped the subsidy you pay per month, which I thought was an underhanded way to do it, because there's nothing on their end to say after 2 years to adjust your price down so you're not paying the subsidy off anymore. So the quick math we did was, let's say you had a $700 phone, you paid $150 for it. It's $550 subsidy. The math of it's approximately $15 a month that you're paying for a subsidy for a 3-year plan. Now, over a two-year plan, you would be up to almost $20 per month, extra per month, paying off this phone. After 2 years, are they going to knock that $20 off?
Well,
no. And if it's a great phone that's still good after 2 years, are you going to upgrade? Are you going to remember to say, hey, take that $20 off, now I'm not paying it anymore? They're not.
And what if you bring your own device? Are they going to knock $20 or whatever off your bill?
$5.
Pardon?
If you're off contract, going month to month, if you bring your own device, you get $5 discount off your bill.
Wow.
One other thing I meant to mention before we go on is another feature they're adding, just a little one, is by law now, carriers have to send you text messages based on your data usage. So if you're halfway through your data plan, they have to send you a text message saying, hey, just courtesy reminder, letting you know. And then right around like 80 or 90%, they'll send you another text message going, hey, you're really close, be careful, right? That way you can't go, oh, I used 1 gig too much, and now I got like a crazy large bill. So that's one way they're going to help you monitor your usage.
So something Android users have had since Ice Cream Sandwich.
Pretty much, but you have to remember, we still have some dumb phones, or iPhones, sorry, and they don't do that, right? So
iPhones do that now, don't they? Yeah. iPhones keep track of data usage.
Do they keep track of data now?
Maybe with 7 when it comes out. So what do you guys? This isn't on there, but I'm just thinking. They're talking about Verizon coming up here. I read that, and then I always read about the people going, oh, all those guys charge the same, there should be some law. And I know those are the same people that complain about gas prices at all the gas stations being the same price. Yeah, that's our competitive price. But what do you guys think about Verizon entering the market?
I think it's good.
Just before we move on.
I think it'd be good. I mean, I think I can't say I really know what goes on in Verizon in the States. I haven't kept my eye on what's going on there. But I mean, I think another player in the market that plays in an area outside of Canada, like, that
I'd rather
knows
see
what the market is in
Vodafone,
there.
I think.
Well, those are British friends, right? Vodafone is British, right?
Yeah,
But
I think
but
so.
the fact that it's pretty cheap in the States for data plans and stuff like that, right? If they can bring that sort of mentality with them, we don't need to gouge as badly as the other big three are. Maybe they can come in and then the other three can change. Competition should be good.
People think that, but I always think of in Vancouver. I don't know if you remember, Tom, there was that gas Artco or something came in, and they were going to undercut all the competition.
Yep.
And they had really low gas prices, and I would say within 6 months, their prices were the same as everybody else's.
Yep.
And even when they were low, they weren't getting a whole bunch of people buying gas from them. So
it's just going to be the big four. That's all it's going to be,
Yeah, it's just going to, and they're all going to charge the same amount of money.
They're not going to do us any favors. They're going to come in here, offer us competitive prices. There might be some promo deal that will be $5 less than Rogers, and that's going to be that.
Yep, I agree.
Just the beginning, yeah.
Yeah. So while we've got Tom on here, Tom, did you order the smartwatch 2?
I did not pre-order the smartwatch 2 because I know it will be official. Because if I pre-order it, I don't got a warranty. You have to remember that. So I want to order it right from Sony. That way I have the manufacturer warranty. That way, if I take a bath with it on again, I might have some way of twisting the arm to give me another one, because I did that. I wore one of these into the bath, and my arm went down. Just for 1 second, I went, oh shit, right? And I looked at my watch, it was already dead. For a watch that claims to be waterproof, water resistant, I call bullshit. I fried it in 1 second. I forgot to take it off.
So if you pre-order from Expanses, like that's what they're doing right now, right? They don't offer you a warranty?
Well, they offer you a warranty, but they are importing it from the UK, and then it goes to their US facility, and then they ship it to us. And I don't know if you remember this. I had a buddy, and he dropped his phone out of his van, and he spiderweb cracked his screen, and he had the international model because he buys everything I buy. And he tried to get them to repair it, and he would pay for it. They would not even help him because he was Canadian. They said, sorry, we're not going to send you a box. You're not going to send it to us. He's like, well, can I send it to the United States facility? I said, no, because it's not a United States phone. So he had to run around, and it took him months to figure out somebody to actually fix it. And I don't want the headache, so I think I'm just going to wait for the official launch, and that way, if shit hits the fan, I can do something about it.
So it's good to have somebody you can yell at, right?
Yep.
Well, and that brings up a good point, Tom, because I have thought about buying international devices before, and when I work out all the pros and cons, even if I buy outright here, it's in the end a little less because I'm not paying import fees and I don't have the warranty hassles.
Yeah, the only reason why I buy international is as a router and ROM flasher, international has the biggest universe of developers to support me on. And when you get like Rogers or Telus variants, you have a small handful of people that can help you out. I mean, I just hit a home run with the HTC One to find out that it's the same hardware as the international. I couldn't be happier. So, I mean, lucky for me, but international is the way to go if you're going to be a ROM flasher. I mean, yeah, you're going to sacrifice LTE, but kind of worth it to me in some areas.
So Mark joined us, and I think he has a comment too.
Just double checking the topic. Sorry, I came in a little bit late, but just having to do with. It sounds like you had a warranty problem, Tom, with your device.
No, we were talking about would I pre-order from Expansis, and I had said no because they import from the UK, and then it goes to the US and then to me in Canada. So if it breaks or I have a problem with it, I can't get a warranty because they don't serve Canadians. Yeah. So if I call them, they're not going to let me send it to them, and then I'm kind of stuck with a watch without a warranty. And as I said, if I accidentally wear it in the bath or something happens, and I'm screwed, right?
Yeah, I had that with the Sony tablet where it got busted, and because I bought it in US, the warranty wasn't good from a Canadian address. I just sent it from a US address, and which is easier than unless they're like, oh, we'll honor your warranty if you send it from a UK address.
Yeah, a little more difficult. So, I think anybody else got a comment there?
I had just a general comment about the idea of these wearable accessories, and I just thought, I mean, after watching guys like Derek Ross getting his Google Glass and stuff like that, I was just I was blown away. And there was a device I was looking at recently, doing a Kickstarter soon, called NFC Ring. I don't know if you guys have seen this yet. It's going to be a little ring you can get that has NFC built into it, and you can use it with your device to do whatever. And I thought that would be the coolest thing. And I'd have my smartwatch, I'd have an NFC ring, I'd have my Google Glass, all connected to my central phone. It'd be awesome.
I wanted to buy that at some point, and all I found was a little bracelet. But imagine that, the problem that you would have having a ring with NFC chip inside. What do you do when you hold your phone? You trigger your NFC? That's a big bug.
I guess, yeah. I thought NFC, I think it's one of the quietest, coolest features you can have on your device. And Mark and I were talking today during work about some of the coolest things you can do, because what Sony has, a lot of their accessories are all NFC based, right? You want to attach your wireless headset, paired by NFC. Hey, look at that wireless speaker, paired by NFC. You know, the new phone or the smartwatch, paired by NFC. So like, just takes a lot of the guesswork out of it. And a guy at Pipe Band the other night brought his phone on. It turns out he bought an Nexus 4. And he was showing me all the pictures he took on the last trip, and I'm like, nice, here, I'm taking that one. I'm taking that one. He's like, how are you doing this? I'm like, magic, don't worry. You know, and
magic,
like, yeah.
Actually, and
he was like,
that with the Z10. My S4 and the Z10 can do the same thing. So it
just shares. It was the coolest thing. So I just love the idea of having these kind of devices that are connectable like that, and I just thought of some of the cool things you can, like, this idea of wearable accessories, so they're no longer as intrusive, right? You don't have to have a pager on your belt anymore. You don't have to have, you know, a big phone. You can actually have just your phone and a couple other little peripherals and accessorize.
Okay, well, good points. Let's move on a little bit. I think we've all got the update to Maps. But there's no Explore for Canada.
Yeah.
Who uses that?
I would have in Montreal, but I guess that's going to be Google now. Is that the point, I think?
Well, here's the thing. Like, so it technically works, right? So what happens is, go into anybody who has their maps out right now. You can get your device, go ahead and grab it, and go look up any American city. Just think of any American city you want: Boulder, Colorado, Jackson, Mississippi, something like that, and just do a search for that city. Clear out the search, and then tap the search bar again, and it brings up a little card that says Explore, and you tap it, and it brings up a colorful display of photos of places to eat, places to go drink, places to go shop, and it has all these great, and it populates it really nicely. You do that anywhere in Canada. So, my device, right? I wrote an article the other day. So, go in your maps and center it on some city. So Boulder, so go search for Boulder, Colorado.
I went to Detroit.
Detroit, Michigan, because they're having some issues. You need to go shop there.
I can get everything cheap. The whole city.
That's so sad.
It is so
sorry,
sad.
Guys. We're not. I'm not making fun of that. That's bad. Anyways, so the idea is, once you have your screen just blank, right? So hit that X to clear out Detroit, then tap in that search widget or the search bar again, and what you're gonna get is little cards that come up. So on mine, okay, you can't really see it, but I just get, because I'm in a Canadian one, I just get that little strip of 4 icons. eat, thing. It's just not as pretty. So doesn't in the Explore feature, it collaborates them all and it puts great pictures. And I've heard it gets those pictures from stuff like was it you and I, Mark, talking about it? Yeah, you can see the little color card in the middle. Tap that card, and you get
Mine has Southern Ontario on it.
Southern Ontario.
Yeah, that's what it said. So it must have picked somewhere close to Detroit.
Oh, because I've tried it with every city I could think of in Canada, and all it does, it just shows the four bars, the four icons, like a fork, a coffee cup, a bar thing or whatever. Whereas in the American ones I've seen, just about every city and most Europe and UK is showing that colorful display of Explore. Anyways, just thought I'd say it's one of those things again we miss out here in Canada. And I've been trying to reach out to people like at Field Trip or people at Google Maps or my other Google contacts to say, why is it not in Canada if it's in other places? It's in Australia, it's in UK, it's in Germany, it's in France, it's in I tried a couple places, all over, but we're not seeing it at any of the big, like Toronto, fourth largest city in North America, and it's not showing up for that.
You'll have to tell us, Sylvain, if you get an update that brings that to you. I'm kind of wondering what's going on, because mine did go to Southern Ontario, and apparently I have a French version of a thunderstorm warning.
Okay. Whatever Ryan talked about doesn't work right now for me. I'll have to talk to you after the show, Ryan.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because I'll need the Explore version or feature.
I was going to say, what are you doing, Mark? But I see what you're doing. So,
did Ryan's little thing here, and I got a giant list here in Surrey, a giant list of all available restaurants and hotels and stuff, just no pictures.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just look at the fancy looking feature you get anywhere else. So, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Cass.
Okay. So we kind of did an on-air, didn't work demo, just like it always happens. Let's move on. HTC did announce their HTC One Mini, and it doesn't look like it's coming to Canada. Who was going to get that? Anybody?
No.
Nope.
I think you all know what I'm going to get.
Yes, we do.
But here's the thing about the fact that I would have really loved to have recommended it to many people. Because there's many people out there that I think would like that device, who would love the HTC One device, but they don't want to spend the HTC One price, so they would get the Mini. There's plenty of people I think it would have been a nice, cheaper alternative than the HTC One for a lot of people. And I laugh because it's a Mini and it's 4.3 inches, which is still larger than any iOS device or iOS phone. And that's our smallest device or whatever, right? So.
Yeah. Well, it is a shame that we don't get those particular devices because we don't seem to get a lot of these smaller versions, mid-range phones here. So the last one, actually this news I'm kind of interested in. I did read that apparently Nokia went with the Windows Phone exclusively because apparently they were afraid of competing with Samsung. Anybody else think that's really lame?
Yeah.
Well, they didn't say Samsung specifically. They just said one player.
They just said competition.
One player who would be a dominant force in the field.
Which, when you consider when that was, who could tell? Like, at that time, it looked like it was going to be HTC. So they were afraid of HTC. That was kind of,
I think at that point you started seeing Samsung with the Galaxy S came out with that. They had the first Nexus S. I think about that point. So I think they started to see where it was going to go. But a funny statement. Tom, your thought?
I know Nokia did sign a 2-year agreement with Microsoft to soulfully work on Windows phones, and then months later they report record losses, and I just laughed, right? And it's just you don't do stuff like that. Anyways, I just don't think Nokia should be afraid of just Samsung or just HTC. I think Nokia should be afraid of everyone. I don't like Nokia phones. I've had a couple in a day. I've actually had the Lumia 720, which was a huge hit here in. I guess I couldn't call it a hit, but it was the most popular Windows phone on the Rogers network for a while. And the camera was crap. The software was buggy, and there were so many returns on it. The phone just didn't measure up to what the hype was. So I mean, I don't think Nokia's got what it takes to take on Samsung, HTC, and probably not even Sony or even Motorola. I think if Nokia was going to come in as a competitor, they would be on the low end scale. That's just my opinion, though.
They do sell more than BlackBerry right now, though.
Mm-hmm.
Just to give it some perspective, they do sell more phones than our BlackBerry.
Well, but I've had Nokia phones and I've liked them, and they had a huge market share. I think they could have done really well just on momentum. But I always thought they went with Windows Phone because Elop was from Microsoft, and I don't think he was open to anything other than being buddies with Microsoft. But that's just me bringing personalities in, because I was also mad that Microsoft abandoned Windows Mobile too. So, oh well.
Gotcha.
Anybody else got any comments about that weirdness? The weirdness of Nokia not wanting to be competitive?
They can't be competitive.
Okay, Tom, that's even more words than I'm putting in people's mouths. Okay, let's move on. We've got a couple of reviews. Sylvain has gotten accessories.
Ooh.
Tell us about your accessories.
Yeah,
Sylvain.
I was muted. Mute everybody.
Oh.
And myself included. So I did receive a little pouch today for my Nexus 7. And it's a really cheap pouch. Like all my accessories, I like them cheap. Except that one time when I bought the Tab 2, I paid $30 for my little case there, but I did return everything. So anyway, I got this one off eBay. Not sure what it's made of. I think I had the link earlier. I'll post it in the agenda. It's called a soft bag case pouch. Anyway, doesn't say much. It's like tissue or I don't know, some material. It's quite nice, really padded. So you know what? I just put my Nexus 7 in it, and
Milo, in.
I don't have to be afraid of dropping it or putting it in a bag or anything. So there's a little zipper. Pretty nice. And it comes from China, and on their page they say for 8-inch tablet. And that was a mistake when I bought it. But you know what? I'm sure an 8-inch tablet wouldn't fit in there, because mine, which is 7-inch, fits perfectly. So I'll put the link in the agenda. You guys can look at it. Very
And
nice pouch and really cheap. It's like $3.69 Canadian.
And you're right, Sylvain. I did get a pouch that was advertised as 8-inch, and it really was a 7-inch pouch, and yeah, they don't fit. So good that you're happy with that.
Sylvain, a question for you for using it. Like, do you use it for everyday use or just when you're going to transport it? Like, that's one thing I struggle with when I look for a case for a tablet. Like, putting it in, taking it out all the time, it's kind of tiresome. So I only use it for when I put it in the bag when I go on a trip or something like that. But then once it's out, it's always out until I put it away again.
For now, it's going to stay in the pouch. I'm also waiting for a silicone case, which it will stay in there. And yeah, at that point, when I have the case, I'll just use the pouch for transporting it.
Do you have a comment, Mark?
I think Taishi has a comment.
Sorry, I muted myself.
I went away with my camera.
He had some rice snacks after or during dinner, so he's a little bit hyper.
Wired up.
That's okay. It adds flavor.
Oh.
Okay, anybody else want to talk about accessories they may have gotten lately. I've got some on order that I'll be talking about later. I've been waiting for 2 weeks already to talk about it. So let's move on to ROM updates. What's new and exciting in the ROM world, guys?
Not a whole lot. Just the 4.3 leak, of course, that we already mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
I know Ryan actually mentioned this. One of the variants of the Galaxy S4 got, was it 4.2.2 they upgraded to? Ryan?
Oh, yeah, the
I
Wind
haven't seen
Mobile
it.
one.
Did they get it?
Yeah, the Wind Mobile version got upgraded to 4.2.2. It had shipped. It was the only S4 version that shipped with 4.1.2.
Interesting.
So they're finally on the same page as all the other S4s.
No, we also heard a rumor about the S4 skipping an update, right? They were saying they're going to skip 4.2. Oh, the Note.
I think that was the Note 2 they were saying is going to skip 4.2. That's a rumor out of Australia. And they just got the leak for the Note 8 for 4.2.2. So it looks like there's a lot of things that are coming up right away, just in time for the Google announcement. So,
cool.
Anybody have any apps that really did fantastic updates?
I heard, and I don't use, maybe somebody out there who can tell me, Evernote updated, big update today.
I heard that as well.
And one of the things was they could edit like basic Word documents and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
I haven't played around with it. I've given up on using that Evernote program a while ago. But that's the one I heard about. I'm just looking through my little list of apps that I have updated. We know Google Maps is the big update. Twitter updated with some basic features. My favorite Office Suite program did add inserting shapes into Word as a new feature. Internet Movie IMDb app actually updated to actually have a sort of TV tracker. So just like Sylvain's app last week, it sort of has like a TV tracker right now. So what else was there? Paperland Pro now has a live weather for all globally now, and that's all the ones I knew of.
Well, I know my recipe my cookbook that I did a long time ago, it updated and it's now on the up-to-date style, so that's kind of nice. Other things that have been announced was Sony's got some really interesting stuff coming out for attachments. Mark's our Sony guy. He's been promoted from our Facebook guy to our Sony guy. So take it away, Mark.
So I'll just correct that. It wasn't really announced. It was posted on Sony Alpha Rumors. And I guess they do a lot of camera rumors from Sony's side. This rumor came out and they give it what they call an SR5. It's almost certainly correct, their rumor level. Or rumor level. I don't know. On their side they say SR5, but maybe they just had to make it SR6.
I saw somebody said 6 out of a 5.
Yeah, well.
6 out of 5, and was like, what?
But anyways,
what
basically the rumor is it's when you an attachment that goes onto to several different kinds of phones, but it's not a lens that attaches to your camera. It is in fact its very own sensor. So it has a built-in sensor, battery, and memory that's into it, and it uses NFC to then pair it to the phone and then transfer the pictures that way. That's actually quite an interesting way of doing it because you can use the phone as your viewfinder, and the camera lens you can actually have a really high-end camera lens that could probably crush Nokia's 1020. I would assume.
How big is that?
Everyone hates Nokia.
It's supposed to have, now I don't know much about camera sensor, but it says it has the RX100 MII sensor and the Zeiss lens. And there's going to be a second one with small model, but it's going to have all that optical zoom. It looks like it's going to be really, like, for those who don't want to lug around a big DSLR, big camera, this one looks like it's for someone who might fit right in their pocket really easily. So I don't know how big it is. They kind of show a little rendering, a little blurry rendering, but really show any details on how big it is.
It looked about the size of a 35 mil lens, like a standard or 50 mil lens or so.
It looks
What I
like
liked
that,
about
yeah.
it, what I liked about it was that it looks like it could use any device as its view screen, right? That was a cool thing.
Yeah.
And you know what? I could take it off when I didn't want it, so I didn't have to have a massive camera when I go to a concert. But when I go camping, I can snap it on and get better pictures. Snap it off when I don't want better pictures. That's what I was kind of liked about it.
And I don't know if it has any kind of flash or what on it, but a lot of people were going, oh, that the Z Ultra has no flash on it or anything, and has a poor camera. What's with this? Why didn't they put a better camera? Well, maybe they intend on announcing it at a similar time, and it can, it can probably maybe be able to attach to the Z Ultra.
That would
so
be
if you
cool.
really want a camera, then you have a nice camera lens that has, or a camera sensor and everything that's really high quality one for those shots. And it uses their default NFC pairing, so you tap with your NFC and then it pairs it, and you probably have an app from the Play Store that allows you to actually run it as a viewfinder.
Yeah.
Well, that's a different way of doing things. Like Samsung has tried gluing phones to cameras. This sounds like a much more elegant solution.
Yeah.
Certainly more versatile.
You're not either lugging around a big phone or big camera. You're just taking your phone around, and then you have that extra sensor that you attach on later. So we'll have to see if this rumor does come to fruition, and if it does, what kind of availability, what kind of pricing they're going to set. But it looks to be a very interesting idea if it's true.
Absolutely. Any more comments on that? Because we're starting to get close to the end of the evening. Moving on to the tip of the week. I think Ryan is going to have it this week.
Yeah, I just did a quick little tip this week, and it's something I'm noticing more and more with my work contacts out there, that I get their emails, and especially it's vacation time, so I get their vacation reminder saying they're off, but they'll still reply to me, which is okay. But what I noticed, because they're on vacation and they're using more often their devices to send their email, and a lot of them, like I would say 90% of the people that respond from their phones still have the basic send from my Samsung mobile device, send from my iOS, my iPhone 5, and it's like,
sent from my iPad.
I can't stand that. To me, I see that and I think you were too lazy to make it yours. I don't know. To me, that's it. You get some people that they say, "Oh, please forgive my brevity because I'm writing from my thing." Whatever you do, right? But please, just let's not be this. It's almost as bad as having the same ringtone as everybody else out there, right? So my tip of the week was changing your email signature, and it's dead simple. I won't even bother bringing it up. I'll write an article this week about it. But there are several different types of email clients out there. Most people are obviously going to be on Gmail. In Gmail settings, there's an option. Go into settings for your account, and right now I have mine. Mine's not even set at all, so it says nothing. But you can write whatever you want. Sent from my awesome phone. You can say something like that. I hate the standard reply. I always just delete mine. So yeah.
Especially when they have the carrier in there too.
Oh yeah. Because they'll be sent from my Canadian Rogers device or something like that.
My Rogers BlackBerry i9. I don't know.
Oh, stop it! You know what? It's like I said. I like being able to personalize it. It's like when you get into somebody's car and they don't take the sticker off of the plastic off of the radio or something. The little plastic coverings.
Yeah. Or the plastic off their couches in the living room, right?
Yeah. So just change it. Like Sylvain is saying, put your name in there. I have a special tag for work that I have to put on mine, on my emails and whatever, for the Android Coliseum when we have a couple of taglines. Just put something there other than send from my Samsung Galaxy device, the greatest device. It's an ad for them. Why are you advertising for that company if they're not paying you anything for it? That's my tip of the week. Change it. Make your device your own. It's a common thing I've been saying for a long time. Anyways.
Wow. That was a tip and a rant all at once.
Yeah, those are the best kind of tips.
I guess. If you're going to rant, do something about it. Okay, so it's that time where we all talk about an app that we think you would like. I did not collate any winner from last week. Anybody do that?
Sure, I won.
At least I'm honest and didn't just say that I won. Is Ryan saying something?
Sorry, I was muted because I was typing something. But yes, it was a tie between Cass and Sylvain.
Yay!
They tied
Yay.
last week too. Good job, guys.
Did we tie last week?
No, Sylvain won last week.
Yeah.
No, they tied, but I casted my vote and then I pushed Sylvain over them. So they
Yes.
actually tied.
Well, there you go. So there was a tie last week.
So that was between Battery Guru and, you know,
Series
like I
guide.
haven't. Ah, yes. Well, let's move on to this week. I guess that means Ryan goes first since he wasn't here. Do you want to go first, Ryan?
Sure, yeah. So we had a request actually this past week, and again, I really want to thank everybody out there who does comment on our blog, does comment on our Google+. I love having the conversation. You know, I keep saying that's one of the reasons we do this is we want to have a conversation with with the people. And I want to hear because I don't have all the answers. I want to talk to everybody. We can get all the answers together. So, and he suggested, and I can't remember what it was now, to be honest, and I really apologize for that, that we do widgets. You know, something, and he written down, he wanted to beautify his phone and what kind of widgets out there would be good. So we kind of thought today we would choose apps that have a widget that we use on our screen. Mine this week is going to be the Google Play Books, because especially seeing as last week I was camping, I used it 99.9% of the time as a book reader. What I like about Google Books is the fact that I can make each book a widget on my screen. So I'm not going to AirDrop. I don't know if you guys can see, but right on my phone there is a picture of the book that I'm reading right now, the Dresden Files, book 14. I can just tap it, oops, and it brings me into that book automatically in whatever page I'm on. So I like that as a widget. I mean, it's not a fancy widget, but it shows me the book cover of what I'm reading. It brings me to a spot where exactly I'm at, and it's just a quick shortcut, almost more than a widget. But I think it's great. I don't have to open up that app, click that book that I'm reading. I can just go straight into that book. Great little widget for me. So Google Play Books.
And just to comment, Kobo also has the same sort of widget.
If
It's
you
not-
read the Kobo stuff.
It's actually not very good. I don't like using the Kobo one.
I find it annoying, but it does show the cover for the book and puts you back in place. I'm sure the Google Play Books works better.
You can have the Google Play one. You can cycle through the ones in your library. The only way to cycle through the Kobo ones is recommended reads, and I don't really care about recommended reads. I care about my library. But if you want the library, then it's like a 4x6 widget or something like that. It's really
Yeah, I don't use the library. This is the specific 1x1 widget for the book I want. So I would pick the widget, and then I go through my own shelf, and then I pick the book I want to read.
Okay, yeah. Kobo has that one too, then. But I like the one, the cascading one for Google Books.
Okay, well, pick Ryan's widget if that's the kind of thing you're into. Mark, do you want to go next since you have Active Baby there?
Sure, I guess.
Or did you go?
So the widget I have is, I guess it's kind of similar to Ryan's in that it's not a dedicated widget app, but it's just a really good widget on an already standard app. So you may remember a while back, my app I think was Plume back then, and so I still use it for. I don't do much writing, but I do it for reading other people's stuff on there. So the widget they have is actually part of the reason I picked Plume. It's hang on, let me just move my name down. So it's
Oh, I'm
it's
going to do that next time.
So it's a resizable widget, so you can make it as small or as big as you want. And you could have, like, I have Facebook here and Twitter messages, and you could set these to whatever. It gives you some settings or whatever. So it's a nice scrollable widget. Do Facebook here, and then it'll make you do you can do a message right there, and you can attach to Facebook. Do your hashtags in there, and then you can do it basically without actually having to enter in. And you can do searches and everything and refresh, and it's actually it's pretty basic, but it does it really well versus some of the other ones I've seen out there. That's part of the reason that I went with Plume, is just because their widget was so much better.
I have to agree. That's one thing that drew me to Plume all that time ago when I did use it. And since you have the Facebook integrations, great for people that are on Facebook and Plume, or Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah, it gets all that stuff done in one shot.
And
there's Google Plus in there.
Yeah. And their widget is, you can make it transparent if you're a transparent widget theme.
You can adjust some coloring and everything around too. So
it's a nice widget. Moving on to Tom, because he's at the far end.
Okay, I'll share my screen here. So mine is an app I did a little while ago called Android Pro Widgets. So I'm doing a theme for it this time. And the theme is called Modern ICS, for ice cream sandwich. And if you don't know what Android Pro Widgets is basically it's a customizable widget that will allow you to basically do everything I have displayed up here. You can do calendars, people, bookmarks, messages, Facebook, Twitter, and then timeline, which is the Twitter and Facebook integrated together. So here's what I got now. So this is the default Gmail widget. And if you're trying to go for that completely stock Google look, that's where this theme really kicks in. So I'm going to slowly slide over to the bookmarks. And this is the bookmarks widget that's from Android Pro Widgets. And it actually duplicates the style of the stock Google widget. So you can actually have that uniformity. Because if you look at the stock Chrome widget for bookmarks, it looks nothing like Gmail, nothing like Messages. If you want to do the calendar, it's ugly. The off-colored banners and everything, it's disgusting. So, I mean, this, for me, a guy like me, looks is everything. Uniformity is everything. So, unfortunately, you will have to have the Pro version of Android Pro Widgets to make it work, because you need that theme support. So that's my app. It's Android Pro Widgets, and the theme for it is Theme Modern Ice Cream Sandwich.
Okay, so that's if you like to have the same look for your widgets on all your different apps, right, Tom?
Yes, I like the uniformity. I mean, this will help you get back to that stock Google look without having off-colored widgets and things that just don't match your theme. This will keep you stock Google all the way.
Okay, Sylvain, how about you? What have you got?
All right, so this week I will be talking about Smart Audiobook Player. So as you can see, I only have one book right now on my phone, and it's the Harry Potter one. Very basic, but at the same time, lots of options. They keep the UI very simple. At the top left, you can set a little timer. If you want to sleep after, let's say, 15 minutes. So you have all the controls on the cover that you see there. And on the upper right corner, you have a little padlock. So you click that, and then all you see is the play or the pause. And when the padlock is on, you can't scroll. So you can touch your screen. It doesn't change anything, except if you touch the cover. It's going to play and pause. And there's also a widget. There's two right here, the 4x2 and the 4x1. Where it says music there, that's only because that's the name of the folder I put my book in. So very simple there too. You can just play. And if you press on the upper side of it, it goes back into the app. And the nice thing is it's free. There's no ads. And I think if you buy the app, I don't remember how much it is. I think it's $2. You get a little bit more options. But I think even the free version has enough, just so you can enjoy your book.
So where do you get the books from? The audiobooks?
You get them. That's a question you shouldn't ask me.
So it's like it's not attached to a store then?
No, it's
like
not.
Audible? Okay.
That's right.
I actually have a comment in regards to Audible. I didn't think about it, but actually Audible is they've been pretty much the go-to audiobook main like menu for a retailer or whatever. But the app has always been really horrible. It's been very gingerbread-ish, and they've never really done anything to it. But they did just release an update like a week or two ago, and now it's like falls more in line with the Android Designer's Guide. It's actually done much better now.
Do you use it then?
I did. I actually used it. One thing that really annoyed me is that if you wanted to scroll through, like if you had like kind of like the progress bar, right, as you're going through a book, but before it was like the entire book. So if you wanted to scroll like to a certain part, and you had to be very careful if you had a really long book, right? Now it's segmented into chapters, so you can scroll through each chapter.
I found when I used it, it really sucked the battery out of my device. So I uninstalled it. I have a bunch of books with them with Audible. But
yeah, they've sucked me into giving them credits now, so I got to use those credits up.
I used all my credits. I don't think I ever read my books. But that's a nice going back to Sylvain's.
Yeah.
That's
Sorry,
a very nice app.
Yeah, very nice app. It's free. So.
Yeah, that's the problem with the Audible is it's all you have to get them through. You have to get them through Amazon's Audible, right? But this one you can get from third-party stores or
or even rip your own books or whatever you're going to do.
Or you can speak into a mic and do your own, whatever. Do your own.
It reads MP3, OGG format, and the other one is M4B.
Okay. So it's got some options there.
Yeah.
Is it like a certain audiobook formats? Are they like, do they have a certain structure to them?
I think the M4B one has the chapters and a few things in it.
So if you were to import an MP3, what would it do? Just be like one long...
Yeah, it would just read it. The nice thing is it keeps where you're at. It remembers your position, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to go last, and we're going to wrap this up because we're rolling. So my app is actually, share my screen. My app is called EXT Date Widget XL, which is not an exciting app name. But what it is the calendar just across the top of my screen that has the week number, and then it highlights the date. And what makes this, I'm always looking for a different way to display my date because I never know what the day is. That's just me. I always know it's Friday, but any day in between is sort of, afloat. So what makes this a widget is when I tap on it, I have got it opening my S Planner. I know everybody hates S Planner, but I like their month view a lot better than I like the Google Calendar view. And I find it easy to add something because there's a big plus sign there. But that's just me. You can have different things launch when you. It has some settings, and you can have different things launch. It doesn't have to be S Calendar. I could have had the Google Calendar launch, or clocks, or anything else. And you can set your colors and your background. So it's a pretty, again, another really basic widget, but useful if you like that kind of thing. So that's my widget with the weird name. So that's it. I think people have some closing comments. So let's start with Tom. Everybody can go through, and then we'll go back and say goodnight.
All right, thanks for joining us. I know we got a couple people commenting on YouTube, which will hopefully they'll join us in the off-air portion in about 5 minutes. So the live portion is over, but hopefully we'll see you in the off-air portion in a few minutes. Thanks for joining us.
All right, that's it for me. See you in 2 months.
Keep in touch, Sylvain.
Yes.
For sure. So have a good time. You're gonna be in Montreal the whole time? 2 months?
1 month, but there's a few other things that are adding up in there. So.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we're missing you, Tom, Sylvain. So, but everybody, thanks for tuning in. Cass, great job hosting. I appreciate. I'm still in somewhat vacation mode, so I wasn't even really head in the game today. So, good job. Great job. And again, thanks for all the comments out there on the Google Plus guys and on YouTube. Join us in the after show. We'll hang out and talk.
Mark?
Yeah.
I didn't wait for you to say comment, so...
You're just like Ryan then, don't worry. That's the way it goes.
Can't read at 2 places at the same time.
Yeah.
Closing comments?
Yeah. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully a bath doesn't keep me from next week's fun. I don't know how you do it. When do you do baths, Tom?
I do baths...
Once a month.
No. Every other night, just before bed, and because after the bath, he starts to get tired and he falls asleep. Very easy.
When time is his bedtime?
8 o'clock. Sometimes 7:30, depending on how cranky he is.
Yeah.
Mark's
She's like 11 p.m.
reconsidering the sleep setting.
We got Android and baby tips.
Yeah, so this has been our edition Hangout number 38, Android baby tips and other. So thanks for joining us, everybody. I hope you had fun. We had fun. And join us in the after show or next week. Good night.
Thanks.